MD and CEO of Invest India, Mr. Dinesh Joshi, Chairman of the IMC International Business Committee, Mr. Anand Singhania, President-elect IMC, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm truly delighted to be a part of IMC's India Calling Conference once again. I myself feel very closely connected with this conference, having been part of the organizing for, I don't know, maybe more than a decade in my pre-ministerial avatar. And I must compliment all of you for having kept that spirit alive, even during the COVID pandemic. I hope this will be the last virtual IMC India Calling Conference, and next year we can do it in person. Give me a chance to meet all of you, connect with all my old friends, and looking at the situation where economic activity is getting back to very good levels, I think we are well on track to get physical again. And at some point, probably the world will end up phygital, a mix between physical and digital. The lovely history that IMC represents, nearly 115 years of service to business, service to industry, service to merchants, is truly very, very satisfying. You played a very important role in India's struggle for independence. You have been a part of India's growth story over the years. In fact, it was the Indian merchants in Mumbai who came together to support the Swadeshi movement. Most of them leaders of Indian Merchants Chamber. And therefore, in some sense, if I may say, you have pioneered the cause of Atmanirbhar Bharat. A self-reliant India, in some sense, started from the Swadeshi movement, of which IMC was an integral part. Mahatma of the Indian Merchants Chamber. And I think it's a singular honor. I am not aware of many chambers where he may have accepted such membership. And therefore, I believe that I can count on all of you to help us make Atmanirbhar Bharat a people's movement, a Jan Andolan. I'm sure you've been following the news in recent times. Our exports are at an all-time record high of nearly $675 billion, highest ever in goods, highest ever in services. GST collection of April, which reflects the March sales, is at an all-time high of 1.68 lakh crores. We're very redeeming, very satisfying that economic activity has come back beyond the expectations of most analysts. Manufacturing PMI at 54.7, services PMI at 57.9. All of them are reflective of the revival and in some way the attraction of India is becoming bigger and bigger as the days pass. The geopolitical situation in the world also is leading to a lot of excitement and interest to invest in India. And therefore, the comments that my good friend Juzer Bhai just made about the compelling reasons to attract investment in India, the opportunities that India offers for businesses in all walks of life, the huge growth potential that one can see before your eyes with the 1.4 billion aspirational Indians looking for a better quality of life, the high quality skills and manpower that India offers, the technological base that we have been able to create over the last few years, the fact that India emerged stronger despite the challenging times of COVID and in some sense converted that crisis into an opportunity. All of this is reflective of the huge potential that investors have when they come to India. I am confident that efforts such as your India Calling Conference 2022 will help connect Indian businesses and international investors, manufacturers, service providers, businesses of all hues to consider working together, investing in India, manufacturing in India, serving the world from India. It will also give opportunities for Indian entrepreneurs to look at international markets, probably also investing in international companies or geographies. And clearly, looking at the last year gone by and the impressive start of April 22, where we are seeing economic activity at very high levels. Export number is out, as many of you may be aware, $38 billion for the first time ever in the month of April. And this is after March was about $42 billion. So second highest in our history. And March, we all know as business persons, is a month, is the year end, where we all put in an extra effort. And usually April dips quite significantly. But we've seen the highest ever export happening in April also. A closer look at the export trends indicates that the country is gradually moving towards becoming a high-class, high-technology manufacturing economy. And various initiatives of the government like the production-linked incentive scheme, the mega textile parks, the support to reimburse taxes and duties which are not remitted under GST, all of these coupled with the huge thrust and focus on investments in infrastructure are helping India becoming more and more competitive and adding to our comparative advantage in across with other countries across the world, which will help us become a part of resilient global supply chains. We have recently concluded 2 FTAs, one with UAE, another with Australia. Just prior to this, attending your conference, I was in dialogue with the negotiators from UK who are currently in Delhi. We've had 3 rounds of negotiations with the UK. We'll have a possible 4th round very soon. We're finalizing the dates. I'll be meeting with stakeholders in UK on 26th and 27th of this month. All of this reflecting on the huge interest that the world has today to engage with India, to work with India, to expand the business ties between their country and India. We have the Italian Foreign and Investment Trade Minister in town. I met him yesterday. I have further meetings with him today. The excitement is palpable, in fact, infectious. And I'm sure by next year, we'll be able to conclude a FTA with EU also. All of this providing huge opportunities for businesses across the developed world and in India to support each other's economies, needs, create jobs in a big measure in India, create jobs in the counterparty countries, and therefore what we are looking for are fair, equitable, win-win transactions with all countries with whom we are expanding our engagement. In fact, many of you will recall that the Economic Survey 2018-19 had laid out the centrality of investment as the key driver that catalyzes the economy into a self-sustaining virtuous cycle when supported by a favorable demographic phase. We, on our part in government, are committed to working with all of you to capitalize on this demographic dividend and look at investment driven growth and export driven growth with greater engagement with the rest of the world in the years to come. You're all aware that over the last 6 years or so, we've had record foreign direct investment, including in 2021, which saw the highest ever FDI of $82 billion flowing into India. In fact, today, India is an island of stability amid the ongoing global disturbances, solid structural reforms, macroeconomic stability, predictable policy, business-friendly reforms, a democratic, rules-based, open, investment-friendly economy. I have no doubt that the collective effort of our industry and the government led by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will lead to limitless possibilities and countless opportunities for all of you who are working in India, looking at investing in India, looking at expanding trade with India. Mr. Bagla has given a lot of information about various initiatives taken by the government to promote and encourage investments, both domestic and foreign. The reduction in corporate tax rate, the IBC, the bankruptcy resolution mechanism, improving ease of doing business, reducing compliance burdens, decriminalizing several laws, in fact, taking several laws off the statute book, FDI policy reforms, focus on infrastructure where we look to invest over $1.5 trillion over the next decade or so. The PM Gati Shakti initiative, which is a national master plan which will help us implement our infrastructure projects smarter. The Make in India initiative, Digital India, which will take broadband to every village in the country. The One District, One Product, by which we are engaging with states and local small businesses to help them become greater participants in our international trade. The national single window about which Deepak ji was just talking about, an initiative which has never been embarked at this level before, with central government ministries and departments, states onboarding very rapidly. All of this collectively portends a bright future for all investors into the country, all businesses working here. And I'm confident that we'll all work together for the collective success of India in the years to come. We have also taken several initiatives like the India Industrial Land Bank, Industrial Park Rating System, the National Infrastructure Pipeline, the National Monetization Pipeline. We are also working very actively to modernize and make the SEZ law more contemporary. All of this, I'm confident, will facilitate investments into India. I'm happy that you have Mr. Isa Gurer on the conference with you. We have just operationalized the India-UAE FTA from 1st of May, which is incidentally also Maharashtra Day, Gujarat Day, and Labor Day. So a very auspicious day when we started the UAE-India FTA. And I'm confident that will open a flood of opportunities for Indian businesses, particularly the labor-intensive businesses, for getting big market access in UAE, through UAE to other CIS countries, Africa, the Gulf region, and will also add a lot of value to the businesses in UAE who are wanting to work with India. We have also concluded the Indus Ekta, the India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, which has been very well received both in Australia and India and will help us expand our trade between the two countries. Canada, UK, EU, Israel, possibly GCC, all of these are engagements where we are working very, very actively to speed up closure of our free trade with these regions. Friends, the Indian Merchants Chamber's mission, innovate, motivate, consolidate, is truly appropriate when we are looking at the India story. Innovation, in fact, has been one of the key themes of our government, whether it's in governance, welfare delivery, or entrepreneurship. We are looking at reform and transformation in all spheres of business and ease of living in India. In fact, we recently had a century of unicorns. We crossed 100 unicorns in the country only last week. And I'd like to compliment all our startup entrepreneurs for this unique feat. In conclusion, I recall what Gandhiji had once said, and I quote, "A small body of determined spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history." It's a very telling comment. It's a comment made 75, 80, 90 years ago, but relevant even today. And I am sure in the Indian Merchants Chamber, we have such a body of determined spirits. I have the courage of conviction to say in the government of India today, we have that fire in the belly, that determination and desire to make India a developed nation in the years to come as we celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of India's independence, and embark on the next 25 years of Amrit Kal, the golden period where India is going to work and aspires to become a developed country when we turn 100 in 2047. All of us together are on a mission. The people of India are on a mission to rewrite the script of India. To all the investors on this conference, I can only say, come, invest in India, in India's ideas, in India's talent, in the unlimited potential which have been unleashed in India. The unlimited potential, providing huge opportunities in India. Let's grow together, change together, transform together. Thank you very much.
With this, we'd like to humbly thank our chief guest, Mr. Piyush Goyal, for your valuable insights today, and what a great address. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. With this, it is time for me to now invite Mr. Anand Singhania, President-elect, IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industries, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you. So this entire talk of our Honourable Minister has left me speechless, because India is shining and India is progressing at a rapid pace. Today marks the 23rd year of the India Calling Conference. This is truly a very historic and momentous occasion for all of us as India celebrates 75 years of independence. The theme of this conference, Unleashing Opportunities, Why Invest in India, was chosen to support and highlight the visions of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, for India. That is, to become self-reliant, to become a global hub for manufacturing, and to digitally empower its citizens. And as one of our speakers said, India is now the largest consumer of data, the new oil in the world arena. This first session provided us with great insights of the several measures undertaken by the government to boost domestic and foreign investment in the country. On behalf of the IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I profusely thank our chief guest, Sri Piyush Goyal ji, Honorable Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Textiles, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, for sparing time and delivering inspiring address. It was a great opportunity to better understand our government's policies and initiatives for the growth of India. Sir, you spoke about the Prime Minister's vision of an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Sir, we are moving to an age and time when the entire world will be Bharat par Nirbhar. So we will be the suppliers of goods and services for the entire world, including agriculture, as one of our speakers spoke about. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our guests of honors, Mr. Prabhat Kumar, who is the Additional Secretary, ER and DPA, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Sir, India is looked with a new light internationally, and we have the entire world community looks at us in a much favorable light, thanks to the forward-thinking measures of the government. I thank Mr. Deepak Bagla, MD and CEO of Invest India, who explained the various statistics that each and every state is deploying and the government of India is deploying to increase the number of startups, to provide a platform for growth. And lastly, I'd like to thank His Excellency, Mr. Isa Al Ghurair, Chairman of Isa Al Ghurair Investment LLC, for sharing his thoughts and opportunities and collaborations in India under the aegis of the recently signed India-UAE FTA, which came into effect just at the beginning of this month. So as we come to the end of this inaugural session, I am confident that the upcoming day-long conference will throw up many interesting perspectives on the theme Unleashing Opportunities in India. We thank all our delegates from India and from over 50 countries for their valued participation. The IMC Chamber would be very happy to facilitate any further interactions with the government for investing in India. I wish to thank all of you for participating in this conference. A very special thanks to our sponsors, Reliance Industries, for supporting this conference. We are indeed very grateful to the Ministry of External Affairs, Invest India, the Economic Diplomacy Division, and ET Now for partnering with IMC for this conference. Lastly, I thank the media and the entire IMC team for putting this event fabulously stitched together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anand Singhania, and all our valuable dignitaries for having joined us. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the inaugural session. Once again, I'd like to humbly welcome all of you. Well, it is time for us to now move on to our next section. We're looking at the trade, investment, and by time, I will request the participants to please view or download all the speaker profiles from the help desk in the reception area. If any of you would like to ask a question, please click Ask Queries button.